President Trump doesn't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. And he doesn't think you should be talking about him either.
You're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
That was President Trump during his cabinet meeting this morning at the White House. Now, I told you in this video yesterday that Trump's Department of Justice and the FBI released this memo on Sunday closing the case on the Epstein files, saying that there was no client list to be seen and there would be no more people charged in connection with his case. But instead of closing the book, that memo and the video released by the DOJ with it only opened up the door to many more questions. And I'm going to talk about that missing minute from the Epstein video in a second, because the Attorney General gave us an explanation that you're going to want to hear. But before I do that, you have to understand the reality is, while the Trump administration does not want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein anymore, the fact is it was really Trump himself and his allies who brought up all this Epstein stuff during the 2024 campaign. It was Trump himself, along with Pam Bondi, who is now the Attorney General, and Kash Patel, who is now the FBI Director, and even Alina Habba, who is now the acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, who all said that there was much more to this Epstein case, and that there was a list of clients and documents and videos that the Biden administration was hiding from you. And once Trump was in office, he was going to release all of it. That's what they said. Well, now that Trump is in office, and according to this memo from Trump's own DOJ and the FBI, the Trump administration is saying they now agree with the Biden administration that there's nothing to see and nothing more will be released with the Epstein case. And according to the Attorney General today, that's for a good reason.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
But if all of that is true, then why did Attorney General Pam Bondi tell Fox News back in February that the Epstein list was on her desk to review? Here's her explanation today.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Lastly, as I reported in this video last night, the DOJ and FBI re-released this video from the area outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell at the SHU in New York. They say this video proves that Epstein took his own life because no one was seen entering Epstein's cell after he was locked in about 10:40 p.m. on August 9th of 2019. But if you watch closely, a full minute is missing from that video. Watch as the timestamp jumps from 11:58 and 58 seconds to 12 a.m. and 1 second. What happened to 11:59? Well, today, the Attorney General was asked, and this is her explanation.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
There is no Epstein list. Jeffrey Epstein took his own life in his jail cell while awaiting trial. No other high-profile people are going to be charged in connection with any of Epstein's crimes, and no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. And that's the end of it. That's the final word in this memo from the Trump administration's Department of Justice and FBI, which was just released yesterday. Oh, and they also released this footage of the outside of Epstein's jail cell. But instead of closing the book on the Epstein case, what just happened only raises more questions. So here's what's going on. The Department of Justice and the FBI just released this short page-and-a-half memo along with video of outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. And if you want to read this memo and you want to see this video for yourself, I'm going to email the documents out to you in my Fax HQ email tonight. So make sure you sign yourself up. According to the memo, the FBI and the DOJ are re-releasing the video that we've seen before, except now they have enhanced it, they've balanced the color, and improved the sharpness so you can have greater clarity and viewability. The video is being released again to show that no one could have entered Jeffrey Epstein's cell after he was locked in about 10:40 p.m. on August 9th of 2019. This memo says the Trump administration has conducted an exhaustive review of the investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. They have found the same thing that officials in New York and the Biden administration found back in 2023. Nothing to see here. And the Trump DOJ and FBI said, consistent with prior disclosures, Epstein harmed more than 1,000 victims. The only documents that have not been disclosed to the public are being withheld to protect the victims. The FBI says those documents did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. The FBI memo goes on to say their systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So if that's true, then why did Attorney General Pam Bondi bring a bunch of influencers over to the White House and give them huge binders of so-called Epstein documents to only have to later reveal that there was nothing new in those binders and then have to try and clean it up by going on Fox News in late February and claiming that the Epstein list was on her desk to review? Fox News' White House reporter asked the White House press secretary today to try and clean that up.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
I've got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. They promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
You can decide for yourself if you think that's a good answer or a bad answer or an answer at all. Obviously, this memo is raising a lot of questions, but also raising questions is that video that was included with the memo. Again, DOJ and the FBI say it proves that no one went into Epstein's cell at the SHU in New York after he was locked in on August 9th of 2019. They re-released the same video that we've seen, but just like before, if you watch closely, a full minute is missing from that video. Watch as the timestamp jumps from 11:58 and 58 seconds to 12 a.m. and 1 second. What happened at 11:59 p.m.? That has still not been cleared up.